Hello guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my personal predictions for how the MLS opening week is going to turn out. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. To start us off, our first matchup is Nashville SC versus New York City. Now this is a very fun-filled match that I think is going to be a very close and tight match between two teams that are top of the East, I believe, are going to finish top of the East this year. Now, New York City finished third place in the East last year. Very, very good season from them. But this year, they've lost quite a few key players. And for that reason, I'm not going to say they beat Nashville. Now, Nashville, on the other hand, just been going back between the East and West Conference, but I think they are here to stay in the East, and a very solid fourth place performance from them last year. No, fifth place, excuse me. I think that it's going to be a 1-1 draw between the two Titans, and it's going to be a fun match to watch. Alright, moving on to our second match, I see Atlanta winning 2-0 against the San Jose Earthquakes. I know both teams didn't have particularly a great last season, but I believe Atlanta is definitely going to pick it up this season. And San Jose, I'm sorry to say, I just don't see enough in that team to perform above Atlanta. Moving on to our third matchup, we have Charlotte FC going against the New England Revolution. Two teams that performed around mid in the East last year. Bummer that Charlotte barely missed out on the playoffs. A bummer season for New England in particular. Just not doing well in the East. I'm going to say that it's going to be a 2-1 win towards Charlotte. Moving on, we have my team FC Cincinnati taking on the Houston Dynamo. I'm going to go 3-0 for Cincinnati. Cincinnati has had a great preseason. I know it was a bit of an upset that they beat Austin in the preseason for their first preseason match. A little bit of a letdown, though, that they lost to the Union 3-1. But hopefully they're going to be back and ready to take on this Houston Dynamo team. And I think they're going to do pretty well. Now, next we have DC United versus Toronto. Two teams that had a very, very horrible last season. But I see there's a lot of hype around Toronto to do way better this year. And for that reason, I'm honestly going to put Toronto winning 2-1 over DC United. Alright, next we have Inter Miami versus CF Montreal. CF Montreal, incredible last season. Inter Miami, they had a pretty good season. Montreal did knock Miami out of the first round of the playoffs. And it was very tight in both matches they played against each other. But CF Montreal did end up winning all of them. But this year, I see Inter Miami's going to make some moves up the table for the East. So I'm going to put them at a 1-1 draw. Moving on to Orlando versus the New York Red Bulls. I'm going to go a 2-2 draw. These two teams here, I see them making both making playoffs. They're just absolutely beautiful teams. They're just ready to make a big difference. But these two giants for the East going up against each other so early in the season, I'm not sure who I'm going to give this to. So I'm going to give them a 1-1 draw. I could see it going either way. Alright, now the Philadelphia Union versus Columbus Crew. Columbus Crew had a little bit of a letdown, missing off on the playoffs last season in the final game to Orlando. And I just don't see them doing too well this season. Philadelphia had a very impressive preseason, beating Austin 3-2, beating Cincinnati 3-1. And I don't think they've lost a game in a while. And other than that disappointing MLS final, I see that they're winning that match. 2-0 is going to be my prediction. A strong win for the Union. Now we have Austin versus St. Louis City FC. I'm going to give it to Austin. St. Louis SC, I hope they do good this season. It's always nice to see a new team perform well, but I just don't see it happening. Austin's just such a strong team, performing very well in the Western Conference last year, and I don't think St. Louis is quite ready for what's going to hit them. Alright, next we have FC Dallas versus Minnesota. I'm going to go with Dallas 2-1. Minnesota is a great team. I found that out in the playoffs last year. I'm like, who's a Minnesota? And then I saw they really gave Dallas a challenge in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Dallas. Both teams are doing great so far, but I'm just going to have to give it to Dallas. Moving on, we have the LAs facing off. I was playing FIFA this morning, actually, which might make my decision a little bit more biased. I was playing Los Angeles FC versus LA Galaxy, and I won 4-2 with Los Angeles FC. So I'm going to have to say that Los Angeles FC are going to win 3-2 in a very close match. Now we have Portland Timbers versus Sporting Kansas City. I think this is going to be a very exciting match to watch. Portland Timbers, though, I'm going to have to give it to them. I'm going to say 1-0 to Portland Timbers. Kansas City, I don't think they're just not quite enough to win this match. Now, next we have the Vancouver Whitecaps versus Real Salt Lake. And this is going to be a very, very tight match. But I'm going to give it 2-1 to Real Salt Lake. I just don't think the Whitecaps are quite ready. And I'm just going to have to give it to them. Thank you guys for watching this video on my predictions for the opening week of MLS 2023. If you liked what you just saw, make sure to like, make a comment. Who do you think is going to win MLS Cup? Maybe even subscribe if you're feeling generous. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.